All right, last night didn't go so well. We know how it goes. We go through this every Saturday morning. You went out, you had too much to drink, you drank the wrong thing, you hit on the wrong girl, her boyfriend
Hit you,
possibly, punched you in the face.
ice it down, pop a few aspirin, cook up your eggs and bacon, settle in, and let your Uncle Kev and Uncle Dave nurse you through the morning.
That's right, it is time for your Saturday morning hangover cure. It is Sports Frenzy 2.0, the weekend edition.
So wake your ass up, bitch!
Taping here on September the 20th. But of course, this will hit Saturday morning, September the 23rd. And don't worry, we've got you covered. We have got a lot of cool stuff to discuss. Not a concert this week. One of the few weeks in the last couple months where we don't have a concert review. We'll fix that next week. Plenty of live music to discuss next week.
Absolutely.
But this week, we have the new album from Alice Cooper. Loosely kind of a concept album.
Yeah, there's some stuff on here. The Road. Things that he could have done early in his career that would have worked very well.
Yeah, again, you can tell listening to the 13 songs, he's trying to go for a theme about life on the road as a rock band. I'm not going to say it's hitting you over the head, but it's not subtle either.
No.
But yeah, 13 songs, and we've reviewed a couple of them already.
Yep.
Let's say number
it's
one.
Listenable.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn on this one because now, number one, Alice Cooper has never been one for vocal stylings. You have to take him as his persona.
Right.
And take his little sing-song, talking style for what it is.
Some of these come off better than others.
I thought the middle of the album was the strongest. I thought once you got to track 5, Go Away, and then got through 6 and 7, we've already reviewed White Line Frankenstein.
Yeah, Go Away, White Line Frankenstein, Big Boots harkens back to Big Balls. Just that fun rock.
Well, of course, the not so subtle,
yeah,
implication that, oh, she has big boots.
Yeah.
Yeah. We know what you're talking about, Alice. Yeah. We get it.
Rules of the Road, The Big Goodbye, and Road Rats Forever. That run is pretty decent.
See, I didn't like it that much.
No?
No, didn't like it that much at all. I thought the second half of the album was weak. I actually thought at the end they picked things up with a really good version of the Who's Magic Bus.
See, I didn't like it.
See, I thought that was good.
I did not care for it. 100 More Miles was an absolute no. That was probably the worst one on there.
Agreed. I didn't like Baby Please Don't Go either.
No, that was just really, what the hell are you doing? It might have worked for a different singer, but not for him.
Right. It seemed very awkward and weird for him.
And Rules of the Road, I kind of liked it, but it harkened back to Jim Dandy.
Yeah. Now, the songs you mentioned, I didn't hate. I just didn't think they were really strong. In the first part of the album, kind of the same feeling. Now, we already discussed I'm Alice and Welcome to the Show. The first two songs are solid. They're good, not great. And All Over the World with the horns in it. I swear I heard horns in it.
Yeah, it was
Dead Don't Dance was pretty good.
It was okay.
Good guitar work, but
yeah, Go Away had that very George Thorogood feel to it.
Yes, it did. And lyrically, he's at the top of his
musically,
game.
It felt like something George Thorogood would do. Yeah. But that song fit Alice's vocal stylings beautifully.
Yes, very clever. The little double entendres that he brings out in that, along with Big Boots. Those two songs, to me, the same. They were written the same way. They were meant to be fun. The whole wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah, what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
I think that's the highlight of the album is the fun, the middle segment, the fun stuff.
Yeah. Where he's just out there just goofing around and enjoying music.
Yeah, and even the first track, I'm Alice, is kind of like that.
Yeah.
Where he's just basically riffing on his own persona.
This is
with
who
the top
I
hat
am.
And the cane. And I will say this. I think this is a rare case of the whole being better than the sum of the parts. I think the album as a whole I enjoyed more than if you dissect it song by song.
Yeah, if you just listen to it through.
Right. Again, maybe that's because it's meant to be a theme concept type album.
Kind of an amalgam of his career.
On the road. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, again, dissecting it song by song
doesn't do it the justice,
right?
Shall we say?
I think if you just listen to it beginning to end, you will enjoy it more than doing it piecemeal and picking out songs that you like and songs you don't like. I'm going to give it a strong 2.5 frenzies.
It's exactly where I'm at.
Yeah, it's recommendable.
Yeah,
not at the bottom end, the lower part of the scale, but it's not a bad album.
If you like Alice Cooper, you should check it out. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's not a bad album at all. And again, I think it flows better if you listen to it just in one sitting.
Just straight through.
We're not picking hit singles off of this.
Right. We're just listen to enjoy it for what it is.
Right. Yeah. So, no, not a bad album at all. Did not mind it at all.
Nope.
Now, this is kind of like, almost feels like a mini album review. Because we talked about Jimmy Buffett, of course, passing away, and an album he already had completed.
Right, just waiting the release date.
Right, so of course, they released not one, not two, but 3 singles off the upcoming album. So I find it interesting as I listen to these 3 in the order that they were presented to me on Spotify. Of course, the album coming out is Equal Strain on All Parts.
Yeah.
They were presented in this order. They were presented in Like My Dog, My Gummy Just Kicked In, and Bubbles Up is how I listened to them.
Yep, that's how I did as well.
And I think they kind of go from best to worst is how I listen to it.
That's my take. And Like My Dog, that's a cover of Billy Currington that he had out years ago. And that was actually a pretty damn good album. And so I knew this song. And it's a fun little ditty.
I just I like it. It again, we go back to the Alice Cooper album, kind of reminiscent in its songwriting style of Go Away.
Yeah.
In the clever way you keep talking about the same theme over and over again, involving a woman that might be causing you trouble.
Yes.
Very, very clever, very fun. So I obviously was not aware of the history of the song. Doesn't shock me, given the fact that he has a propensity to do cover songs and things like that.
Yeah, picking up some of the country songs. But he puts his own little musical twist to it.
Yep.
But no, I liked Billy Currington's version, and I enjoyed Buffett's version as well.
Yeah, now see, I would give, again, I have not listened to Currington's version. Given that I'm coming into this with a different perspective and looking at it as a new song for me, I would give it three frenzies.
Yeah, it is a 3 frenzy song from both of them.
Yes.
So,
and the lyrics are just fantastic. Just fantastic. Then we get to My Gummy Just Kicked In, which it holds my interest about for a third of the song.
And then it just
It gets kind of repetitive. It's catchy, but
It's catchy,
it
but
needed
it's
more.
not a solid song.
It needed more. It
Yeah.
needed more. I understand where he's going with it. I understand, of course, the big hook, because not very many people would have the balls or the guts to write a song about somebody's marijuana gummy kicking in.
Yep.
But
see, to me, this reminded me. I can't remember who sang it offhand, but the song "Tequila Makes Her Clothes Fall Off."
there you go. Yeah.
So, girl going out to have a good time, and it all just melds together.
Yep. So, like I said, I've already spoiled this for you. Kind of downgrading as we go through the 3 songs. I would say this is probably a 2.5 Frenzy song.
Yeah.
Now, Bubbles Up. Here's what I say about this. Bubbles Up is, I don't want to say what's wrong with Jimmy Buffett, but it's the reason why I never became a Jimmy Buffett fanatic, is that a lot of these
Where he goes melancholy.
Yeah, there's so many of these songs in his catalog where it's just, chill and mellow out, man, and we'll sing a little song about life, and it does. You need a little more creativity, like the first 2 songs have.
Yeah.
You need a little more bite, a little bit more detail than just bubbles up is a philosophy that I'm gonna live by.
Now, looking back, could he have maybe had this as kind of a farewell?
Possibly.
A self-introspection, knowing possibly that...
Oh, could be. Definitely could be. Definitely could be. Yeah. And there's a lot of artists, living and dead, who have done things like this. Like Billy Joel stands out. Obviously not dead.
Right.
But when he decided he was going to stop recording pop music, the final song on his final album, River of Dreams, I do believe is Famous Last Words or something like that, where he knew he was writing the song that was going to end his
the final
pop music career. So, and I wonder about that. We just reviewed James Lee Burke in our book segment last week. I wonder, knowing how old he is, if he is not prepared something.
Yeah.
To say to his family, release this book after I'm gone. This will be my final work, my final words. It's not like when Michael Crichton died. I think it was a little more of a shock, and I don't think he really had planned on.
No, because he had how many stories partially written and ideas ready to go.
Right. I know we're delving into books, comparing them to music, but there is a lot of similarities.
Writing is writing.
Right. And even for me personally, even though he didn't know he was going to die, I think the final song for Van Halen with Eddie Van Halen and David Lee Roth, even though it was more of an upbeat song, Beats Workin', just summed up the entire Van Halen mentality,
Yeah.
On A Different Kind of Truth, the final song on that album. So you can read into it what you want, and sometimes you're going to be right. Sometimes you're just reading into it.
Right. And we might be reading into this one. We don't know.
But that's fine. I just, overall as a song, it didn't do much for me. I'd give it 2. I'd give it a 2 Frenzy.
Yeah, you're right on that.
Because again, it just sounds like so many other Jimmy Buffett, mellow, sitting in a hammock strumming my guitar type songs. It doesn't differentiate itself from all the others. Let's put it that way.
Right.
But what does differentiate itself from the others?
Rockabilly lives, baby.
Thank God. Thank God I stumbled upon Brian Setzer again after all these years of not listening to him, and then finally rediscovering his first solo album, The Knife Feels Like Justice, and then almost like karma, music karma, Oh, he's got a new album out.
Woohoo! And it's not the orchestra.
Yeah. And I think that's why I kind of faded out on him, as I wasn't a big fan of the music he put out with the Brian Setzer Orchestra. I like the hardcore rockabilly stuff.
Yeah, where he's rocking it out. You don't have the extra strings and everything else. He's got his vocals are down and dirty. Guitar's just going off the rails because he is a phenomenal guitar player.
Yep. And so this is the song that got me into researching. Oh, new album? Found a new album. The Devil Always Collects. We'll review that for you in a couple weeks here on Sports Frenzy. But had to give you a little taste. So Dave and I are going to review what I think is the strongest song on the album, Girl on the Billboard.
So good.
I love this song so much.
Catchy chorus. Just
a little bit of a tragic end if you read into the lyrics.
A little bit of a tragic end. But that's what makes a good song. You have hope springing eternal, and then that little bit of a letdown.
Yep. I will tell you, I know you're probably going to say I'm overstating it. It's always good to rediscover somebody you forgot about after years and years and years. You know, I've been on a big rival Sons phase lately because we just found out about them less than 2 years ago. And and it's great because I don't have to listen to the same old crap. You know,
exactly.
I don't need to listen to Pour Some Sugar on Me for the 5,947th time. I can now listen to the Rival Sons catalog, and now I can listen to Brian Setzer.
And not the 3 Stray Cats songs that have been played to death.
So I'm going to go out on a limb and say this could be a contender for my Song of the Year. I'm giving it 4. I am giving it 4.
Wow.
I'm giving it 4.
Holy cow.
I love it. I love it so much.
I'm giving it a strong 3.5.
No, I love it. I love it so much. There are very few songs that we have listened to this year that I have liked as much as this.
I will concede that. This is up there.
Yep. Now, at the end of the year, it could go either way. Maybe something better comes out, but I think
we're running short on time, though.
But for most of the stuff that we expected to be in contention, that stuff's already been released in the summer.
Yeah.
Some of it disappointing.
A lot disappointing.
As we have discussed. Again, we'll review the album in a couple weeks. I will say this, as much as I love the album as a whole, I know there's going to be a better album from earlier this year that at least 2 or 3 probably.
Yeah, there's been some good albums. This song, though, is solid.
This song is just so cool and so much fun. This will be a contender.
You will not be disappointed. We both give it high praise.
Yes.
We've had some contention over the last month on things.
But no.
I figured we are all in on.
I figured we would have a little bit of a copacetic feel about this one because
absolutely,
with all the negative crap that's out there and all the you still got all these newer bands just doing all the downbeat screamo stuff that sounds all the same. I know you like it more than I do, but I needed some old school.
This is a breath of fresh air.
Yes, definitely. And the whole album is a breath of fresh air. So we've got more good stuff for you next week, including, as I mentioned, a return to live music reviews.
Yep.
For the last time for a while. We got another concert lined up for 2023.
Yep, we got one coming in November.
So I will get to double digits this year. That was my goal. Get to double digits. That'll be your 12th, 13th, 14th.
Oh, we're up there pretty good because we had
probably 15.
A few.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and look. But we've got Megadeth coming up that we'll review from this coming weekend tonight as you listen to it. as you listen to this the night before, I will have been listening to Asking Alexandria opening for The Who, the HU, the Mongolian folk metal band, throat singers that are awesome. The boys and Mrs. C and I are looking forward to this one. It's different. It's good. I hope they bring it in concert. I'll let you know.
Yep. So that's why we're going to hold off on Brian Setzer, give him more of a full review in a couple weeks, because most of next week's music section here on the weekend edition is going to be our last big blowout for live music for 2023. Again, we've got Chris Isaak in November, but as the summer fades, you just got to have that one last...
The last hurrah.
Yeah.
Going into fall.
Yep. Now, we are not going to completely and totally dismiss new music. So we've got 3 new songs for you that we're going to review next week. Of course, when we heard about the fact that one, Jesse James Dupree had a new song out co-written with AC/DC's Brian Johnson. Are you kidding me? You think we're going to pass up on that?
Hell no.
Of course, Never Gets Old is the song.
Hey, y'all.
Lots and lots and lots of classic rock references. Whether you listen to the song or you watch the video, you will see the font in the video change as the lyrics change to the different band references. The new album is Breathing Fire. Solo album from Jesse James Dupree will be out November the 10th.
Yep, he dropped the dope smoking hippies for a solo run.
And I'll tell you what, Rev It Up and Go Go, which he did with a side band called Dixie Incorporated.
Yeah.
Years and years ago. I have that. That is a phenomenal album. So it's not like there's a massive drop-off between Jackal and his solo material.
No. So it should be good. I mean, It's Jesse James, for crying out loud.
Yes, and of course, when we get to November, we will review that for you. The Struts have a new song out, Rockstar. So we'll have that for you. And then, of course, trying to get your Uncle Dave back into Southern rock a little bit with a band that I am familiar with, but I don't think... They don't play them on the radio, so that's part of the problem is that they don't get the exposure they deserve, even though they're very popular, constantly out on tour. Blackberry Smoke, with their new album coming out early 2024, new song, Dig a Hole. So we'll listen to that as well and review that for you next week. But that's going to do it for music.
Yep, we've got movies coming up next.
Yes, and I will actually play catch-up so your Uncle Dave can give a little bit more detailed review of the gory, wonderful action flick Sisu. So you got to stick around for that.
Yep, and I've got Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves for you.
So there you go, kids. Plenty to discuss here in the next segment with movies, so do not go anywhere. Quick promo break, and your Uncle Dave and I will be right back. Hey kids, ready for a blast of dairy goodness? Pick up Sports Frenzy 2.0 milk at your local grocery store. Remember, when you drink Sports Frenzy 2.0 milk, you're not only enjoying a healthy treat, you're helping to locate missing sports heroes of the past and present. Our cartons and jugs feature pictures of Peng Shui, Ryan Leaf, and Sammy Sosa as we do our part to find the lost icons of the last 30 years. And don't forget our special weekend edition chocolate milk containers, available on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Casts, and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, because they feature celebrities like Lindsay Lohan, Helen Hunt, and Jean-Claude Van Damme. Pick up a gallon today.
All right, kids, we know you're starting to feel a little bit better now, but your Uncle Dave and Uncle Kev will get you through. We're recording here on September 20th, 2023, dropping the 23rd. It's time to talk movies on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, Amazon, Audible, and iHeart Sports Frenzy, baby!
And that would be, of course, iHeartRadio, taking the place of our Stitcher promo.
It's working a little bit. It still doesn't have the flow, but it's a throwback homage to the original incarnation of Sports Frenzy.
Yep.
Back in the day on cable access.
Yep. Yeah, we've talked about that. We've been through cable access. We've been through YouTube TV, and now, of course, podcasting. So somewhere, somehow, I know somebody had to have recorded all those original cable access episodes.
I wonder who that could be.
Me! Ooh, Mr. Carter, me.
All right.
And I will be more than happy to burn a copy and ship it to your house for $39.95 with a $10 shipping fee.
There you go. If you want the full catalog, it will be 3 installments.
Exclusively from Ronco. All right. Let's start off with your
Frenzy Publications.
Should we start off with your review or our mutual review?
Let's do the mutual. Let's get
Okay.
Sisu.
Yep. Because they both kind of came out at the same time. So it's not like one's newer than the other.
Right.
But of course, you watched Sisu about a month ago?
Yeah, about that.
And I'd been dying to watch it and finally got a hold of it and finally found the time to watch it now. It was released in the theaters. I think it made like $7-8 million. It was limited release. Wasn't really expected to do well, but it's doing well in terms of secondary sales, Blu-ray, DVD.
This is becoming one of those cult films that everybody is enjoying.
And I'll tell you what, it is gorgeously filmed. I mean, the cinematography is fantastic. I mean, when we talk high def, this is a high def movie. Now, in terms of story, it's bare bones.
Oh yeah, there's not a lot of dialogue at all.
No. Basically, you have got a man digging for gold on his own in the middle of World War II, and he is just trying to survive, be left alone.
He wants nothing more to do with the war.
And of course, the Nazis come stumbling and bumbling in to mess up his good old time with his horse and his dog.
Yep, trying just to cash in the gold strike he made.
Right. But, of course, there's more to it than meets the eye. As when the Nazis decide to bully this man, take his gold, they find out from some of the women that they have captured and are bringing along with them that they might have actually pushed the wrong guy because he might be the legendary immortal. Now, Sisu, the title refers to an untranslatable term that kind of somehow means courage
when the desire to live when against all odds. When you have nothing left to lose, you're going to survive.
Right. And that's basically your plot. Basically, the Nazis bully this guy, take his gold, and his entire purpose in life, his mission becomes find the Nazis, kill the Nazis, get my gold back.
And save my dog.
I don't even know if he cares about that.
I don't even know. The dog's just
He doesn't
there.
care about the women. He doesn't care about the dog. He cares about getting the gold.
His gold.
The gold is what he cares about.
It's all about him. And
his singular focus and purpose
is to cash in.
Yes. Now, again, beautifully filmed. I loved the look of this movie. barely over an hour and a half, so it's not like you're investing a ton of time. This is the kind of movie Quentin Tarantino probably wishes he could make if he was a better filmmaker. Yes, I said that.
Yeah.
Because it's not talky, but it's still violent. It's still action-packed.
The over-the-top
And we still got dead Nazis.
Yeah. This is from the people who brought you John Wick.
Right.
So you know what you're going to get on steroids.
Yeah, basically strip away any of the pretense of John Wick, the Continental and all that. Again, strip it down to the bare bones. We've told you already the entire plot line.
Yeah, it's basically just an action-packed flick to kill Nazis and survive.
Yeah.
In the most brutal, dire ways possible.
Yes. So, of course, I loved it. But I will say this. I will say this. I never mentally, even though I know they were saying that he's the immortal, I never quite got over that, especially at the end, the final action scene. I could never get over the whole, well, is he a mythical figure? Is he truly never supposed to die? The last action scene went a little too far for me. I could kind of buy into everything up until then, but then you're asking me to basically buy into the fact that we're looking at not a human being. You're expecting me to say he's not a human being. When you have to
throw all laws of physics out the window.
Yeah. Yeah, that part didn't ruin the movie for me. It opened another door, but I don't know if I want to go through that door. To the point where we're making him now out to be almost a superhero.
I think this was just more supposed to be the over the top.
Well, then if that's true, then I would not like it as much because I prefer
having that hint of
maybe he is truly an immortal.
Maybe you gotta wonder with some of the stuff that he went through,
right?
And that final piece,
but the final piece went over the top. Is what I'm saying.
It was, and so maybe he is.
But of course, he gets
coming
his gold.
From the land of mythical gods.
Yes. So I will give Sisu a strong 3 frenzies.
There we go.
Again, that final action sequence depends on how you take it. I thought it kind of went, like you said, a little too far over the top for me. But in no way, shape, or form keeps me from recommending the movie and enjoying it. Yeah. Still fantastic. Still probably going to end up being one of my favorite movies. Well, is it technically a 2023 movie? Or did it come out in late 2022? See, that's the thing. Because is it going to be in the running for best movie of this year, or did we miss out on it for last year?
I don't
think
we did. Based on
when it was released.
Let me find out for sure here.
And of course, then your Uncle Dave has a review of Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
Oh, Sisu was late 2022.
Yeah, see, technically we can't put it in.
Biscuit.
Can't put it in the running for 2023.
We cannot. Damn it.
That's what I was wondering about.
Yeah, it was late.
Yep.
But alas.
Why don't you tell the kids about Chris Pine in Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves?
Oh. This is one that my youngest Nick talked me into watching. He and a buddy of his who played Dungeons and Dragons went to see it, and he came back raving about it. He said it hit everything. And he was right. This had action, adventure, comedy, drama, sorcery. It checked off every level that you could possibly want. So, Chris Pine's character and Ms. Rodriguez from the Fast and Furious.
Which we'll talk about in a minute.
They start off in prison. They're thieves. Well, he started off as a harper who did right by everybody, asking nothing in return, but it wasn't paying the bills for his wife and newborn child. Unfortunately, he ran afoul of the wrong group. Tragedy strikes. He goes off down the wrong path. As a thief, gets mixed up with a person who sets them up. They're in prison, they get out, try and make things right, and shit hits the fan for him as they try and rescue his daughter from the bad guy. It's your typical adventure, your team of misfits coming together to do the right thing. It's got everything. I will not give the spoilers. The effects are great. The cast is likable. I'll give it a solid 3.
Let me ask you this, though. What is the tie-in to Dungeons and Dragons? Is that just a marketing ploy? I mean,
It's kind of a marketing ploy because they're on the quest to get his daughter back. And so you're bringing in a couple of humans, a sorcerer, another race of person, and you have every other races that you're dealing with. And the weird quests that you have to complete before you get to your final mission.
Okay. There we go.
So it builds upon what the game would be.
Okay, there we go. Because I never, obviously, it'd be very hard to put that across in the advertising.
Yeah.
But I was just curious if they were just calling it Dungeons and Dragons just to get people in the theater, and it was just more of a, not generic. Obviously, I've heard good things about it, not just from you, but from other people.
It is. It was really well done, but you have your ultimate goal, but to get there, you have to convince this person to help and this person to help, and then you have the quest to pick up this thing and then that thing and try and get through, and all the goofy stuff that you have to overcome.
Okay.
To reach your ultimate showdown.
Good. Clarification. Good. Still don't know if I'm going to watch it, but we'll see. So, it's not completely off my list yet.
Yeah. No, it was a fun little flick with all the magic and adventure and fighting and what you would expect from something in that genre.
Yeah, if we get another pandemic in the next month, I'll probably watch it.
You might actually enjoy it. I know you like Chris Pine.
No, I don't.
I thought you did.
No, I don't. I don't like him
at all.
Well,
never mind then.
I don't like him at all. Sorry, I don't. I just don't. Personally, he rubs me the wrong way. Now you're thinking of, because I like that one movie on Netflix that you hated a couple years ago.
Last year.
Yeah, what was it? All the Old Knives? Was that what it was?
Or whatever it was, where he ends at dinner with...
Was it Thandie Newton?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that movie.
Oh, that was trash.
No, it was great. But no, I just, there's certain things about him that I don't like. He's fine as Captain Kirk in the Star Trek reboots, but no, not necessarily.
Well, alrighty then.
All right, a little bit of news, of course, to flesh out our movie segment. Of course, we talked about the strikers nonstop, it seems like, week after week, and I still don't care. I still would prefer they shut Hollywood down for a year or two and see these people begging for money because their lives are oh so hard. But now they want to bring in the video game industry.
No.
It's not enough they brought in the TV industry and the movie industry. Now the video game industry is in the the sights of Fran Drescher and her fanatical followers.
This is getting stupid. Absolutely ridiculous.
And like I said, I don't care. I will watch. I can catch up. I can watch Dungeons and Dragons because nothing else will be on. So then I'll watch that.
There you go.
See, there's plenty for me to watch.
But don't F with my video games.
Well, that's where they're going next. Maybe that's why. Maybe they're going to target those because that might hurt the most.
Yeah, well, guess what? The video game industry has nothing to do with TV and movies.
They'll find a way. They'll find a link. They'll find a way to make it
Because,
work into their fanatical plans.
Because, why would the people who do voices actually want to stop working and not make any money?
Oh, we'll talk about that in segment 3. I've got a couple follow-ups.
I mean, this is just stupid. Absolutely stupid.
How these people bully who they want to, but leave other people alone. Now, of course, one of the big success stories, one of the few big success stories of the year in the movie industry was the movie Sound of Freedom, starring Jim Caviezel.
Yep.
Detailing the struggles with human trafficking, making over $170 million at the box office, seemingly out of nowhere. Of course, the liberal media had to blame a very small group of conservative backers
who bought all the tickets, blah, blah,
bought and passed out all the tickets. Yeah, I'll bet you a lot of liberal filmmakers would have loved for their movie studios to take on that strategy.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who have actually seen it.
It did better than Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. Let's put it that way. At least here domestically. So, now the sad part is that now the hero of Sound of Freedom in real life, Tim Ballard, who started the company that was trying to stop the human trafficking, is, of course, under investigation. 7 women have come forth accusing him of sexual misconduct.
Of course they are.
Yeah. We'll follow up on it when we get further news, but this just seems typical. Just seems typical. Just seems typical.
The good and the bad.
Yep. So that'll do it for segment 2. We got one more segment left where your Uncle Dave will get to play, yes, America's favorite game show.
Woohoo!
Dumbass or Not.
We love Dumbass or Not.
And we will discuss the latest episode of Tacoma FD. And we will bring up again this topic of, with the strike, how certain people
are able to do things and others are not.
So you do not want to miss the third and final segment as your Uncle Dave and I start ripping into people, cursing, swearing, because that's what we do in the final segment, especially when it comes to the Red Foreman Dumbasses of the Week. One quick promo break, one last promo break, and we'll be right back, kids.
Hello, I'm James Cameron, prestigious film director. And since it takes me over a decade to make a movie, I've got plenty of time between takes to listen to my favorite podcast, Sports Frenzy 2.0, on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Casts, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, Stitcher, Amazon, and Audible. Hey, wait, I'm having an epiphany. I have a new idea. Summer of 2035. Blue robots from the future on a doomed ocean liner. Oh, brilliant. Where's Arnold? Get me Schwarzenegger. What about DiCaprio? Oh, what about Edward Furlong? We know he's not doing anything.
All All right, kids, third and final segment here on the weekend edition. Hopefully you've got a little more pep in your step and you're getting ready to go out and do the same damn thing again tonight that you did last night that got you in trouble, and God bless you for doing it. That's what makes America great.
What's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing and expecting a different result time and time, night and night, again and again.
Someday you might break the cycle.
But for now, you get us as we guide you through the last 30 minutes of the weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0. He's your Uncle Dave.
He's your Uncle Kev.
We got TV and streaming for you, and of course, the one show we are both watching right now, which is soon to include another show. We'll get to that in a second. But for right now, Tacoma FD. Last week, Season 4, Episode 9, Gone Dutch.
A firefighter's wake.
including fake hands and a man in a wheelchair who wasn't really crippled. Bad toast, good toast, the rules of giving a good toast.
Start off with the dirty joke. Make fun of somebody in the audience. Tell a story about the person and end on a sentimental note.
That coming from, of course, Eddie Penisai.
Penis eye?
Yes.
Oh.
Again, another great episode of Tacoma FD. If you're not watching this, number one, why? Why aren't you watching it? The Broken Lizard guys, when they're on, and on this particular project, this series, they are on almost every episode.
Yeah, this season in particular has been very, very good.
Yes. So check out Tacoma FD. I'm sure you can catch up on demand on True TV.
So good, not a disappointment.
Now, I did not mention last segment, but for movies, next week, we're looking at watching Fast 10, Fast X, whatever you want to call it. And in terms of TV, the new show that your Uncle Dave and I will both be watching, Episode 1 has already dropped, as this is hitting on Saturday, Friday night. The first of 3 episodes on Peacock of the John Wick prequel, The Continental.
So looking forward to this one.
Of course, starring Mel Gibson. Cannot wait. Cannot wait to watch this. This bad boy jumps to the front of my list.
Yes,
immediately.
Yes, it does. Though, Mrs. C and I have finished Justified, City Primeval.
And I will get done with it. You know I will.
I will hold off.
Even though
review.
I know the spoiler.
I know you know the spoiler, but you got to get through to see how it rolls into play.
Right. So I got about 3.5 episodes to go.
There you go. All I will say is, kids, get on this one. And if you haven't seen the series before,
yeah, I mean, that's
go
the thing.
frickin' back and watch it.
That's the thing. You've got to go back and watch this series. Timothy Oliphant as Raylan Givens, character created by the great Elmore Leonard, one of the greatest shows of the past 20 years.
Abso-frickin-lutely. It's brilliant. Brilliantly written, directed, and acted by everyone involved with it.
Yep. Now, a show that I need to start watching just got renewed for season 3. We love our mystery books, our thrillers, the legacy of writers like James Lee Burke, Robert B. Parker, Sanford, Kellerman, and of course, Tony Hillerman with the great Leap Horn and Chi novels.
Yeah.
The AMC series Dark Winds, based on the Leap Horn Chi novels, has been renewed for season 3.
I
season 2 just wrapped up.
those.
Me too. I've got to watch. Got to watch those.
It's just so damn much.
I know. And again, stay on strike forever. That's fine.
Give us a chance to catch up on this stuff. Because, hey, Mrs. C and I are watching Expedition Bigfoot from Discovery. 2019 we stumbled upon it for the first season. We didn't think anything more of it. It's a one-off. It was interesting. Well, they did season 2, 3, and now 4 is out. So we've gone back on demand. We blew through season 2. Now we're halfway through season 3. 4 people who are going around using a computer-generated model to figure out the prime areas and times where all the Bigfoot sightings tend to coincide and group together. Latest stuff, they've got some really intriguing FLIR footage of stuff going on. What the hell is that bipedal thing that looks to be like 9 feet tall? Up in trees and everything else. It's intriguing enough. They're finding footprints and it's interesting. You're not seeing actual footage of them, just the FLIR stuff in the distance and everything, but it's fun to watch this stuff.
Oh, I was talking with a buddy at work the other day about this. He was talking about a vampire show like this, where they went out in search of real vampires. And I told him, I said, I'm down with any of this stuff. Bigfoot, vampires, werewolves. That's the one type of reality show that I will watch. Because UFOs, I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm in. Because number one, it's fun to believe in something weird and different. You know, a myth, a legend.
Yeah, something out there you're trying to find evidence. The legends. It's cool, weird, wacky stuff.
Yeah.
I think you would enjoy Expedition Bigfoot.
I probably would, but again, I don't know if I have the time. I don't know if I have the time. But, of course, now we have to bring in something I alluded to in the last segment with the strike, with the writer's strike, with, all this impacting the actors, the writers, impacting movies, TV, and now they're talking about video games. But here's the thing that I don't like about this. They seem, number one, a union is a bunch of bullies. That's all they are. Because they can't fight the battle on their own. They have to, strength in numbers. You're bullies. That's all you are.
There was a need
bullies.
for them at one time.
But now you've bullied Dave's badass of the week last week into a tearful apology.
Yeah. Hollywood bullied Drew Barrymore. She wanted to put her show back on to be able to pay her employees who are not part of this union. She wanted them to be able to work, earn a living, and support their families. She was doing the right thing, and she got bullied by the rest of Hollywood into saying, well, all right, I guess we're going to hold off for now.
And then, of course, Bill Maher backed off, too. Bill Maher was supposed to come back with Real Time, and he backed off as well. No, but now he was not subjected to the direct bullying and ridicule that Drew Barrymore was. But somehow The View gets to go on.
Yeah, how the hell are those twits still on the air doing new stuff? How do they get to circumvent the union? Why are they not being bullied off the air?
Makes you think, doesn't it? And another thing that makes me think and makes me wonder, and we alluded to this a couple weeks ago when we talked about John Cena popping up with the WWE. Guess who showed up on SmackDown last Friday night?
Who?
The Rock.
No.
Yeah. Record ratings, best they've had in years. And again, blatantly because John Cena and Dwayne Johnson can't act right now because the union is on strike. But it's okay for them to go on wrestling.
Why are some people allowed to do things and others are not? I hate the hypocritical bullshit that Hollywood spews. Do not get sucked into this crap, people.
Because again, loopholes. It's all about loopholes. Somehow the writers for wrestling don't count as real writers.
So why are you trying to suck video game people into this?
Again, it's
It's
all a bunch of bullshit.
all
And of course,
crap.
we could go on about the exemptions they're giving for certain films overseas. If you film overseas, you're not technically bound by the strike.
This is absolutely a joke.
Yes, it is. It is. But again, stay on strike all you want. I hope Hollywood collapses. I hope the actors, the writers, I hope the government collapses with the shutdown. I hope it all fucking collapses. Because about time we got a wake-up call. Because I'm tired of stupid people. I'm tired of bullies and stupid people.
Two ends of each spectrum who are absolute assholes, bullying everybody in the middle, trying to put them into submission to believe what they do. No, you're the frickin' minority. Do what the most of us want. The hell with you all.
Let's go to the positive. Shall we?
Sure.
Too much negative. Too much negative.
For now.
Because believe it or not, I have not one, but two Weekend Edition badasses for you. Number one. Now, if you're this guy, Oliver Anthony, he's got this big hit country song, Rich Men North of Richmond.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I know this.
Yeah, he's like an overnight sensation.
Yeah.
So he has this big hit, Rich Men North of Richmond. So he's going out on tour to support it. And of course, the guy wants to make money, but at the same time, he's trying to be very, very respectful of his fans.
Trying not to bankrupt the fans.
Right. But unfortunately, it seems like he got in with the wrong people. I think he had a friend of his working as his manager, trying to book these gigs for him.
Yeah, and the venues kind of hosed everything that he wanted to do.
Yeah, specifically one in Tennessee, where Oliver Anthony had told everybody, I am trying to keep ticket prices under $50. I would prefer they be between $20 and $40. And of course, negotiations with this one particular Tennessee venue, they went ahead. Some paperwork was signed behind the scenes. They went ahead and started advertising that he was going to play at their venue for $100 a ticket, with meet and greets much higher.
Yeah.
And good for Oliver Anthony. He said, canceling the show. Sorry to the fans, but I am not going to bleed you guys dry. $100 a ticket or more for the meet and greets. I'd already told people what I wanted to charge for both regular tickets and meet and greet, and this is far beyond what I wanted, so I'm canceling the show.
Yeah, and then the venue's ripping him because, well, we have to open separately and we need to make money, and this is our break-even cost. Bullshit!
Yeah, sorry. You can break even.
Bullshit!
Again, what about concessions? What about all the overpriced beer you're going to sell?
Exactly.
I don't. We've been to plenty of shows over the years where they've charged $40 a ticket, and I'm sure they made money.
Yeah, we've been to shows where we paid $20 a ticket, and they made money.
Yeah. No, that's a line of bullshit from the venue.
Exactly.
So, badass of the week, Oliver Anthony, for having the balls as early on in his career as he is, handling the success the right way, saying, I'm not screwing my fans.
Let's hope he continues.
Now, this one's a little bit close to your milieu, your heart, your soul, what you do for a living. And, of course, it's somebody we are both very, very familiar with. My man, Chuck Palahniuk.
Chuck, you sick, psychopathic bastard, we love you.
Of course, the author of Fight Club, Choke, many, many other twisted, demented, awesome, perverted novels that we love. Now, we both admit we've kind of faded out on him over the years, but He is still awesome. And Chuck Palahniuk came out here recently and said, again, as my second Clint Eastwood Badass of the Week, I don't care about censorship. Censorship will not stop me from quote-unquote risky writing.
Good for him.
He's not toning it down. He doesn't give a rat's ass.
Nobody should.
Where do you guys put him in the library?
He's in adult fiction.
Okay, well, I just didn't know if he got an even more special delineation for some of the stuff. Because he gets a little racy, but I love it.
Yeah, you should read some of the books that are in the adult fiction section.
So, good for Chuck. We are all against censorship here on Sports Frenzy 2.0. Now, I do not have any moments of silence, thank goodness. So we will move straight on into America's favorite game show.
Dumbass or not.
The way this works, kids, is I have this week 5 contestants. Your Uncle Dave will tell me whether I am right or wrong in declaring that these particular individuals, groups, corporations, states, whatever they may be, are they dumbasses or am I wrong and they're not? Maybe your Uncle Dave sees some kind of hidden logic working behind the scenes with these people.
It's happened before.
It has. I'm not 100%. I'm probably 95%. I've got one that's obvious, so I'm going to save that for the end.
Oh, you're saving the softball?
Yep. Now, this guy from Hollywood, the more he talks, I really like him as an actor. This is one of those situations where I'm separating the actor from
the activist,
the craft, like Kevin Spacey. We know he's a dirtbag,
right?
But in the end, he's a great actor. I love him in so many movies, but I know he's a scumbag,
right?
Danny Masterson, scumbag, awesome as Hyde in that '70s show. You gotta separate.
You gotta delineate
the art from the artist. So I'm getting to the point where I've got to do this with this guy because every time lately he talks, I feel like I just want to punch him in the face. And literally, sometimes I literally wish somebody would punch these guys in the face to teach them a lesson. This goes back again to what we talked about earlier with Drew Barrymore. Because, of course, we talked about how she got bullied after she decided to initially start her show up again. Well, one Bryan Cranston of Breaking Bad and
Malcolm in the
Middle posted a nice little sarcastic rant about Drew Barrymore, basically saying, "Oh, Drew's a victim. Isn't that convenient for her?" Again, kind of guy you want to punch in the face.
What an asshat.
Again, where's the hashtag #MeToo movement? Where are you when a man is bullying a woman on social media? Where are you? Isn't that your job? Is to protect women from male bullies like Bryan Cranston?
Bryan Cranston is a complete and utter dumbass.
Oh, Drew's a victim.
She is. She's a victim of being bullied.
You've got to read the entire post. I can't do it justice, so I will apologize for that. But it's dripping with sarcasm, and he's basically doing the whole, "Oh, Drew's feel so bad for Drew.
Whatever.
She's suffering so much.
She's trying to do the right thing for her frickin' staff, you twisted dipshit."
And again, this is not the first time he has opened his yap and come out sounding like an asshole. Now, this is somebody I love, but I think she made a major misstep here. Ann Wilson of Heart. Okay? Love Ann Wilson. One of the strongest female voices in rock history. Right up there with Pat Benatar.
Absolutely.
In a recent interview, she said, "I cannot listen to Beatles covers because anytime I hear somebody cover the Beatles, it does not sound authentic to me." Here's my question. Doesn't Heart cover Led Zeppelin all the freaking time?
Yes,
So
they do.
how would she feel if somebody said, I don't like listening to Led Zeppelin covers, they don't sound authentic to me? So she gets to call out people who cover Beatles songs, but in the meantime,
it's okay
Heart
for her to do covers
of Led Zeppelin specifically, because we saw them in concert.
They do a wicked version
we're not,
of Stairway.
We're not saying their covers of Zeppelin are not tremendous, but it just reeks of hypocrisy.
It does. That is an absolutely stupid, dumbass comment.
All right, let's go out to California. I know how much you love California.
When's it gonna fall off into the ocean? We were promised.
I actually said that to somebody at work today when they mentioned California. And I said, yeah, we were promised it was going to fall into the ocean, weren't we? Then, of course, I had to give credit to the conquistador. Well, they're not done being dumbasses yet. For all the other stupid shit they've done, now they want to, and this was an argument I had at work, this is how it came up, they want to make it a law, and it's very close to being signed by, of course, the dipshit Gavin Newsom.
Oh, is this the fast food shit?
Yes, if you work at a fast food establishment, you will get paid $20 an hour minimum.
So you're going to be paid $20 an hour to fuck up my order.
Oh, but if it's a place that makes and sells its own bread, that's an exception. Somehow
what
Panera.
The hell does that matter?
Panera. This is somehow a Panera loophole. Panera will get away with this. They don't have to pay $20 an hour. What the
hell is this crap?
Yeah. If you make and sell your own bread, you are an exception. You don't have to pay the $20 an hour.
This is absolutely freaking stupid.
Is this not so California?
This is so damn dumb.
But my argument was, and again, I can't get a lot of people on board with me on this, but I've always said, when you do this, when you start talking about bringing the bottom up this much, I mean, ridiculously up. I'm not saying the minimum wage is fair.
Why should somebody be flipping burgers making 3/4 of what I make?
Right. That's what I'm saying. You're not helping the middle. When you bring up somebody flipping burgers, unskilled labor, to $20 an hour.
Flipping burgers is not a career. It is a high school, college, get me some spending money job. Right. It's not meant to support a family.
Right. But now that's what they're trying to do, is trying to make it so that the unskilled laborers are making so much that now they're
Which is why it's cheaper to go out to an actual sit-down restaurant with your family than it is to go to frickin' fast food.
And what you're doing is you're not helping anybody. If you haven't looked lately, $25, $30 an hour is what you're paying college graduates for accounting jobs, for HR jobs, for payroll jobs. You're degrading them, in my opinion. Because you're not bringing them up. You're not bringing them up. If you're going to bring the bottom up,
you got to bring everybody up incrementally the same amount.
You are degrading people who went to school for 4 years, who Joe Biden wants to, give a pass on student loans to.
Then if that happens, I want my fucking money back that I paid for.
There you go. So 3 for 3?
Absolutely.
All right. I'm going to say 4 words to you. And you just tell me, dumbass or not. Paranormal Activity, the play.
What the hell dumbass shit is this?
Yep. New York's West End, they are going to stage Paranormal Activity, the play. Now, this shouldn't be shocking considering what they've done. With no new ideas. They've had Back to the Future. They basically redone every goddamn movie they could think. I'm surprised we haven't seen Predator, the play yet. Don't rub your head, Dave. Because
I'm already bald. What does it matter?
But they have no new ideas, so now,
we rip on
Hollywood,
so
we rip on Hollywood for sequels and reboots. Broadway's just as bad because all they're doing is taking the movies and turning them into plays. It used to be the other way around. It used to be like A Few Good Men, the play A Few Good Men turned into the movie.
Right.
But now it's the opposite. Now we're getting the movies getting turned into plays.
Absolutely.
This
ridiculous.
is my critical one here. So, dumbass or not?
Absolutely dumbass.
All right, now I'm going to go 5 for 5 because I know this last one.
And I got one thing before we go there. I have to give props to Ian Shaw, son of Robert Shaw, the great actor from Jaws. He has a play on Broadway, The Shark is Broken. It's with Shaw and Schneider, and it's
and
those
Dreyfus.
guys, and Dreyfus. He's playing his dad, and he's got somebody playing Schneider and Dreyfus, where they're just sitting on the orca killing time while they're trying to repair the shark.
Let's see, that's cool. That's a twist.
Yeah,
this
is kind of an homage to his dad,
right,
and everything. So it's something new and original and different.
Right.
So I have to give props for originality.
Even though it's based
on that,
but it's behind the scenes.
It's behind the scenes. This is what probably happened.
Yep.
And it talks about, he said he deals with the tension between Dreyfus and Shaw.
There you go. All right, I gotta have time for this last one. We love to say "we told you so," and this is a major "we told you so" moment from the beginning of Sports Frenzy. Jann Wenner.
Oh!
Jann Wenner.
The biggest fucking dumbass in the history of dumbasses.
Booted from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Board of Directors after his idiotic, misogynistic, racist comments about his new book, where he basically said, when asked why there were no women or people of color in the book, said they couldn't speak on an intellectual level.
Boom. That is the asshole mentality this guy has. His elitist. Ugh.
We've been saying this ever since we started here, when we started talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the idiocy of the voting.
This is what you get from this guy.
It's the hypocrisy. And here's the ironic thing. This is going to destroy the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because now what's going to happen is they're going to go even more.
They're going to go
into the level of,
worse.
we've got to have more women. We've got to have more diversity.
Then
so again,
you're never
going to get Foreigner, and I'm not condoning what he's saying.
No, he's a complete asshole.
But I'm saying the repercussions of this are going to be, you're going to take the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame further away from its original mission.
Just make it the Music Hall of Fame at this point.
But I've seen quotes from Ted Nugent, of course. He is reveling in this because of all the things he's been accused of. Now Jann Wenner is actually doing and saying.
Yeah.
Living Color came out, which I loved to see them put a statement out, because they should be, in my humble opinion, in contention for the Rock Hall of Fame as a black rock and roll band. And then, of course, Janice Ian, many other women, some of whom, of course, Jann Wenner degraded in his comments, saying that they were intellectual enough to speak at the level that he needed them to.
This is vindication for us. For
of course
what we've been saying for decades.
This is why we don't apologize, because in the end, it will all come around, and Dave and I will always be right. This is why we don't apologize. You shouldn't apologize. Stick by your guns. If you feel a certain person or a certain viewpoint is right, stick by it. You'll suffer the consequences, good or bad.
Sometimes you're going to be right, and sometimes you're going to be wrong.
But hell are we right about Jann Wenner. Scumbag, dirtbag, misogynist, racist pig. Never should have been running the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's Dave.
He's Kev.
Hope you enjoyed the weekend edition. We will see you back here in 7 days with The Who and Megadeth. Take care, kids.